it's been tough for everybody with this pandemic kind of craziness. It's like I think Dr. Jeff Gerber, who's from Denver, he said he basically summarized it as the pandemic has just sucked overall for everybody, which I think is a
Oh,
fair statement. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, regardless of what your view is on it. It clearly everybody thinks it sucked. Are you guys into box beef? I thought I was you were maybe at one point you were talking about box beef. Are you selling cuts of meat, cuts of steak, and beef to people as well?
yeah, that's Wild
Got
Pastures.
it.
So
Okay.
Paleo Valley is more of the snack side of things. And then Wild Pastures is just where we connect the regenerative farmers to the consumers. And then you get to kind of customize your box. You can do 20-pound, 30-pound boxes, whatever you want. We have fish, beef, chicken, and pork. And then it just shows up on your doorstep. A lot of times where we're set up and we have warehouses, it's going to be delivered to you by our delivery people in recyclable packaging. We're looking at solar powered facilities. We're just trying to take the environment into consideration in every single aspect of the business, but we are nationwide for that one. We just got nationwide for Wild Pastures. And so, yeah, you can order cuts of meat or you can order snacks or burgers.
What is the what is the climate right now? I mean, obviously, our company we're in the healthcare sector and we're looking at not being vegan. I mean, I don't think that's the right answer. I think you need a whole food diet and meat is part of that. And for many people, a majority, if not all of that, for certain conditions, at least that's been my experience. Have you found that the landscape for expanding a meat business is favorable, unfavorable? Is everybody saying, well, beef is dead and we're going to be eating bug burgers and soy slop? I mean, I know I'm being biased here, but what has it been a pretty positive experience in expanding to this market?
Well, it's interesting because in Boulder, we couldn't find people to rent to us at first with our burger concept idea because there's a lot of veganism and
Right.
vegetarianism here. We finally did because pandemic helped us there. They needed people, they needed tenants, and so that worked for us. But also when we ask people why they unsubscribe to our service, being I've decided to become a vegan is a very popular response, and that is exactly why I felt it necessary to create the docuseries. I thought, you know what, I haven't done a good enough job educating our audience if that's still how they feel. But despite that, the positive thing is we're still growing, right? And people are still wanting this service. And so I think there are enough people who, are not going to give up meat and might be open to a better type of meat. And I think that, more environmentally friendly type of meat kind of meets people who might be on the fence about it. And so that's what we found. We do have some resistance, but we're going to educate and try and push through just like you're doing. But we're still growing. So we're very, very hopeful that this this isn't over, that we will finally convince people that meat is it's been around for 2 million years. It cannot possibly be the reason that we're sick now.
No, it's clearly not. I mean,
No.
anybody that has a half a two neuron synapses that are connected together would be able to figure that out. But we're being sold a different story, and it's kind of interesting. I saw somebody sent me things at Google Trends. Meat-based carnivore diet is running up the trends and it's surpassed vegan diet and it's passing all these other diets. And then somebody from Google actually contacted me and says, that's not our official data. And I said, well, what does your official data actually show? And she says, well, um, Google is very anti-meat. They're very pro-vegan.
Mm.
Literally an employee from Google told me that. And it's just like interesting that they're doing that. And then the message disappeared because they put it on vanish mode because they didn't want me to copy that and get that information out there. But it's going to get out there anyway because we know they're biased on that. And so you have to fight against that stuff. Do you see any, I mean, in one of the issues that I've pointed out, and it's not a secret, I mean, Congress is looking at this, many ranchers are aware of this. There's a problem with our meat system in the U.S. that it's monopolized or
Mm.
an oligopoly of 4 companies, basically, or 5 if you count Smithfield for the pork side. But um, do you have to operate within that framework? Or are you, I mean, I know the USDA processing facilities are it's kind of a choke point. Or how does that work? Or do you get into that part?
Yeah, no, I do. I get into that part because that's my husband's role in our company. And fortunately, we have fostered some really wonderful relationships with processors, and we're currently in the process of purchasing a processing facility that would allow us to prevent that bottleneck. Because you're 100% correct. When we had coronavirus and the pandemic outbreaks, all of the people, the middle range, like us, were pushed out because those other processors had to come up and take our space. And so, yeah, we're going to have to get into processing, but we're willing to do it because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but a processor is not a small venture. It's a pretty big pricey, big high dollar item. But I mean, I think if you can get that going, ultimately it'll pay for itself. I assume. I mean, I guess that's the calculation why you do it. I imagine.
Oh, 100%. Yes, it's been something we've been looking at for the last few years. It's just become a reality more recently financially. So, yeah, it's just part of something that it's what we have to do. But we are going to do it.
What are your top selling items on the Paleo Valley side and the I mean, I guess that's probably more because beef is anyway. I think the wild pasture side it probably speaks for itself. But like Paleo Valley side, people you said the beef sticks or what are people going after?
Yeah, basically the beef stick. So they're just a fermented beef stick raised from regeneratively raised beef. And then we also have turkey sticks. So pastured poultry and chicken, it's really hard to find done well. We've done that. And then we just add spices and we ferment them so you can avoid all preservatives. So those are our best selling product. And I think more relevant to your audience would be our organ complex too. We started making organs. We're really into whole animal utilization, right? And they're nutrient powerhouses, as I'm sure that your audience is very aware. So we do heart, liver, and kidney in capsules, so you don't have to eat it if you're someone who doesn't like to. And then our bone broth protein powder is also really popular. We have a food-based vitamin C that's really, really popular. An apple cider vinegar complex, which is more of our kind of digestive support supplement. And then our superfood bars. I don't know if your audience would like them, but they do have a collagen protein and they're relatively low carbohydrate. So maybe not for them, but they are our best sellers too.